Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching. My name is Nefertiti, and you can find my information in the description box below. So welcome to episode number 3 of Self-Love Sundays. And today we're talking about boundaries. Boundaries, right? So one of the main reasons why people don't have healthy boundaries is because they care too much about what other people think, right? When you put yourself in a situation where you are being energetically drained, 9 times out of 10, it's because you are concerned about what that other person is thinking about you, how they feel about you. You want their approval. So in order for us to really be authentic human beings, to practice self-love, to allow ourselves to achieve our goals and dreams and to fulfill our purpose, it's very important that we have healthy boundaries. So what are the ways that we violate our own boundaries? The first one is obvious, right? Spending time with people that are emotionally draining, spending time with people that just don't have their shit together, right? And we know people like this. They might be nice people. They're people that are probably very smart, but for whatever reason, they just seem to always have drama and extra stuff going on in their life. And as an empath, it could be draining on you, especially when they're not taking responsibility for their energy. Not speaking up for yourself, not speaking up about things that are important to you. Again, because we get concerned about what other people think. If something is important to you, you need to speak up because we teach other people how to treat us. And it's okay to not agree with everything. You could be the only person in the room of 1,000 people who sees through the bullshit that somebody is presenting, for example. And even if nobody else believes it, you know that this is not right. So you speak up for yourself, even though you're going to get opposition. Overgiving is another way that we violate our boundaries. We have to ask ourselves, first of all, what we need, and then be willing to give that out to others that are willing to reciprocate. A lot of the dynamic between the narcissist and the empath is an imbalance of power, right? Somebody's a great taker, somebody's a great giver, and eventually one person ends up depleted. So reciprocity is very, very important when it comes to setting healthy boundaries. Another way that we violate our own personal boundaries is not making our opinions and our emotions a priority, right? So say, for example, you tell somebody that you care about how you feel. In either polarity, maybe you tell them that you love them or you tell them that they've disappointed you and they discredit your emotions. So basically, when you interact with this person, you've got to omit pieces of yourself in order for them to be comfortable. And that is a clear violation of your boundaries because all it does is allow that person to plug into you, first of all. And it's a form of manipulation when people are constantly playing down your emotions, your opinions, what you think is right. Another way that we violate our own personal boundaries is not letting people know that we need to take a break, that we've reached our limit. We just need some time to ourselves. We feel like sometimes we've got to be there for everybody. And, I mentioned this in the energy update I just did recently. We're not bag ladies. We're not bag men. And we need time, especially as empaths, for emotionally recharging ourselves, which is spending time in solitude, spending time alone in meditation, talking to your angels and guides, and asking them to give you a boost of energy. So make sure that you're taking some time for yourself to recharge, to rest, to sort yourself out. And know that it's okay for you to set boundaries. It's okay for you to change your mind. It's okay for you to cancel commitments, to take a day off. It's okay for you to send that call to voicemail. It's okay for you to sleep in, to move on. It's okay to let go. It's okay to be you. And you might encounter people who don't like your boundaries, and that's their problem. They might see it as a grudge. But you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You have a right as a sovereign human being to live life on your terms, right? So let's talk about how we can set healthy boundaries. One of the ways is to clearly identify what it is that you want and what your expectations are, first of all, from yourself and then from others, because we can only receive what we give out. And you need to understand why you need boundaries. The most important reason is to protect your personal energy and so that you can stay on your path as a light worker, as a light warrior. Remember that darkness, the devil, Illuminati, cabal, whatever you want to call that opposing force, their objective is to distract you. They can't stop you, but they want to get you to stop you. So that's one of the reasons why you definitely need boundaries. Be straightforward with people. Be straight up. I mean, people are going to feel a certain way. There's millions of reasons why we can be offended. But even if they get offended because you've spoken up for yourself, at least they know your truth. At least they know where you stand. This is very important to me, this next tip. Never complain, never explain. I heard this from Wayne Dyer years ago. We don't really have to apologize for anything. We're human beings, but we've gotten so accustomed. It's almost like an automatic thing that we do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you bump into somebody, oh, I'm sorry, or anything like that. Just remember that we are human beings and we make mistakes. And hopefully, as light workers, we're not deliberately trying to hurt people. And we don't owe anybody any long explanations. I mean, that's a definite violation of boundaries when you feel like you've got to explain everything that you're doing to somebody, or why you've decided to walk away from a situation, or why you've decided something isn't right for you. You don't have to explain that to anybody, especially if you're a grown adult, right? Just say, this is not right for me, period. Another thing that we need to really do, this is very important, is if anybody violates your boundaries, to address them right away. Don't let things build up, because that's when you get angry and you explode, and now there's communication breakdown. But do it when it first happens, when that first boundary violation happens. Just let people know, like, hey, you know what? I really didn't appreciate when you did X, Y, and Z because it made me feel X, Y, and Z, right? Another thing too, when it comes to others violating your boundaries, is to not take it personal, right? Because you're the one that creates the boundaries. So if you let other people into your space like that, it's not their fault. So don't take it personally. And remember, everybody else is dealing with their own drama. A lot of pain gets projected because it's not love. We are love. And so when people feel that hurt, they project it outward. Hurting people hurt other people because they're trying to get rid of that pain. So if they're not as spiritually adept as you are, that is how they're going to handle that energy. So don't take it personal. Another tip is to have a support system. Even if you don't have people around you. I mean, we have social media. I'm so grateful for social media. You can definitely find a support system online, some people to connect to. If you don't have that in your reality, but then affirm that for yourself. I'm surrounded by loving and supportive people. I'm surrounded by loving and supportive people. The universe will respond because we're meant to connect to other people. One last tip that I can offer you when it comes to boundaries is to trust your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. Period. Don't question it. And then when you get that intuitive nudge that, okay, my boundaries are being violated, something doesn't feel right, then you ask your angels and guides, your spirit team, how can I move forward? How can I communicate this to that other person? What is it that I need to know? What is it that I need to do? First of all, what do I need to do to protect myself? And then how can I communicate my needs to the other party? Boundaries are the only healthy way that we can have relationships, especially as empaths. It's so important that we are mindful of the company that we keep, because not everybody has the same intentions as you. And remember that if you are on a spiritual path and you've been doing the work, there may be people around you that have not done the amount of work that you've done. And so they're easily manipulated by dark energy. This dark force will definitely try to use the people that you love, the people closest to you, because they're the ones that can really, really get into that heart space. So remember, you don't fix people. You can't fix people. Trust your intuition and focus on what you're doing. You don't have to focus on what other people are doing. Saying no is always an option. It's okay for you to rest and recharge your energy. You don't have to feel guilty for taking some time for yourself. You don't have to feel guilty for cutting other people off or letting people know that, what they're doing doesn't feel good. You're not responsible for other people's reaction. Setting boundaries for empaths is an ever-evolving thing, I believe. So again, clearly identifying what it is that you want and being very straightforward about relationship deal breakers. Not always apologizing, right? You don't have to apologize for your boundaries. And make sure that you're addressing boundary violations early. The key, the foundation to really, really setting boundaries is having a healthy self-awareness, a healthy amount of self-love, because then you'll be able to know when energy is coming in that is not like you, that is contradicting the self-love that you claim to have. What it is that you can to boost your self-esteem and set those boundaries. Maybe you need to write them down. Avoid people pleasing and don't let resentments build up. It's also important for us to let go of what we can't control and to always put our needs first and to ask for what we need. Don't assume that other people know what it is that you need. That's a horrible thing to do. And give yourself time and always forgive yourself, because we only learn what we need to learn through experience. So thank you for listening and watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I look forward to speaking to you again really soon. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.